So Chameleon was nerfed pretty heavily in the recent update, which means I have to start trying to use it more. Of course, I was using it previously, but mostly it was just being pilled, and you can't do that anymore. And if you didn't participate in the test build for Pack 2, maybe you wouldn't have known this, but the current Chameleon ability is what it originally had on the test server. So it was basically designed as a parrot for toys, and it generally was considered to be pretty weak. And so at the last moment, they changed it to be a faint pet. And that was probably not an advisable change, but it happened so late in the test cycle that it snuck onto the live server. And the result was lots of broken teams with insane chameleon pill scaling or foam sword spam. And we are actually going to try and do a foam sword build today, although I'm not sure it can really be called spam because without the fainting chameleon, we can't use mushroom, we can't use the old pteranodon. I guess the new pteranodon would have worked as well. We can use Puma still, however, in the previous version, Puma would also trigger when the chameleon fainted, but that won't happen now. So the number of shots we can actually achieve with the foam sword is so much lower, and so we're probably going to need some better stats. And I'm going to swap the marmoset onto the dolphin here. Most of the time I was setting up to try and swap onto a chameleon because it has such terrible starting stats. I think it's 1-3, which probably should be changed given how poor it is, but for now that's what we're working with. And I'm definitely going to take a second lobster here so that we can boost the chameleon when we find it. And there it is. Yeah, it is 1-3, which is just awful for a tier 4. Also the fact that, if you get chameleon on turn 5 level up, it's not, it's pretty common that you're not going to have a toy. So you could be buying it without, or you could be offered it when there isn't even a toy available to take. So yeah, it was very frustrating. And in this run, it's no surprise that it's the actual first run in the video. I got Gariel before finding the chameleon. So we're going to take the Mosasaurus here to get some stats. Because we're not able to spam foam sword as much as before, we really need some kind of decent stats on the team so that they can kind of deal with the survivors after the snipes go off. And Dolphin is kind of like, I guess it's half the damage of foam sword. So not great, but we can boost it later on with Wolverine. And that's one of the small benefits for the change to Chameleon is that now you can actually put Wolverine beside it and get the benefit of the damage. And here we make a mess of the middle of their squad, and the Husky at the back does have melon, but the Flying Squirrel has just enough attack to kill it. We are on 1 heart already, and there were a lot of games like this where I was desperately trying to find the specific stuff early, and so by the time I swapped the stats over, I was kind of struggling. We could take pineapple here. I think I was generally only taking pineapple if I was already doing much better. If I had lives intact, I was more likely to take it. It's decent in the early turns, but it kind of falls off pretty hard later on, and you're much better taking protective equipment to try and preserve the stats on your team, because other teams are going to have much better snipers than you. So we take the level on the chameleon. So now that's 3 foam sword shots. There were also some games where I tried to get level 3 Gariel before I sold it, and that was also just incredibly difficult and frustrating, so I kind of gave up on that as well and just settled for the single foam sword activation. And then we'll just try and multiply it later with Puma and Tiger. So we actually get a nice opening shop here with Wolverine, and it's going to get the lobster buffs. And I think here I was considering running 2 Wolverines, but we're just going to go for the level 2 straight away. And we get another one, which is nice. And that makes the dolphin a little bit more relevant, but we are kind of relying on finding teams like this opponent here, which is mostly summons. Unfortunately, it's perfectly possible, in fact it's very, very common, for summon teams in customs to come back to life with Mushroom, with Stork, Eagle, and so on, and retroactively like reverse sweep teams like my one here. So we take the pineapple, and I'm going to freeze the tiger, I think. I can't remember what I do here. Maybe I just buy the tiger. And it's another surprise sloth. Oh man, why do I keep getting them in the late game when I'm running an odd team? I can't remember the last time I had a sloth that was early on. But this is quite satisfying. We kill off the mantis and leave the opposing muskox as the only pet, and we are able to beat them. But now it's like, how do you work the sloth into this team? And my thought was that I was just going to have to try and get to 9 wins and then sell the flying squirrel and bring the sloth in. But we're kind of far off here. Ideally, I would I would prefer to have already had level 3s on multiple units here. But amazingly, we get matched with an opposing Wolverine snipe team, and it's a win. So we actually get the opportunity to bring in the sloth. We're going to buy, sell the crow. That'll give us level 3 Wolverine, which I think is better than taking the double crow. Actually, I guess I can't afford the double crow. And here I think I decided to give the sloth a pie, just because he's trying his best. But the volume of snipes I have here is just so poor compared to some of the teams that you can assemble with things like lynx. We kill off the lionfish, it shoots back, and then the chameleon trades with the rooster, and they have 2 chicks left on the team. So I don't think there was anything I could have done in that final shop phase to actually get the sloth in and still win. If I'm wrong, maybe you can post in the comments below, but here we go with some more of the runs, and this one we end up wiping their team to the point where they only have the leech left. We bring in the level 3 dolphin, and I actually do get the level 3 chameleon. So more like what I was hoping for in the previous run. And then, you just face a team with husky T-Rex, and they've got multiple 50-50 units, and you've got no chance. It would be interesting to see the original Foam Sword Feint build versus that kind of a scaling team, because I think it could have done a whole lot better than I did in that particular game. So here's one where I get this bizarre quad worm roll, and I made a video a long time ago about rolling 4 of a kind, and I think it's only happened to me 3 previous times. So this is number 4, and I had no choice here. I had to take the worms. I mean, how can you pass it up? I think there was actually a worm in the shot beforehand, and then I rolled again and there was another worm. So the game was just telling me you must take worm. But I think I ended up just giving up on that one. And that I included that last clip because it was exactly the same as Sag's video, the mantis plus chicken. And then here is a classic example of the wiping the opposing team, but then the level 3 stork just automatically wins for them. Another mantis muskox shark. This probably is now the most common team in customs. Muskox plus mantis, and then most teams will generally have shark at the end as well. And we only just lose. That was painful. I think if I had puma instead of a cat there, it would have been a tie. And another one where we wipe most of their team, but they have multiple peppers, and it's going to be a 2 HP loss in that one. And yep, you can see where this is going. We delete almost their entire backline, and now it's a 1 HP loss. So the numbers were getting lower, but I mean, to be honest, with 5 trophies to go, that one never really had a chance. And what's next? Okay, yeah, I remember this one. This is pretty painful. We wipe everything except for the sloth, but Nyala plus Tiger is going to produce 24 trumpets, and then they get the double sloth as a result of the Tiger being in place, and another 1-1 loss. And then the two foam sword teams meeting, and we delete everything, and then of course the the octopus comes back to life to finish off the dolphin. And here's a summon team, which we delete their whole back line as per usual, and then they come back to life. And it's Orca from Eagle, so the ink goes onto the back unit. They get Beluga. Lionfish is going to kill the flying squirrel, but we do actually win by 1 HP. So that was a rare instance of winning around versus those kind of respawning summon teams. So last clip, although it's going to be a little bit of an extended one. Here's one where I tried pilling level 3 Stork, hoping to get Chameleon or Gharial, and I got Seagull. But we do find a waffle, so we can activate the Foam Sword and then bring in the Chameleon. And we do have 3 hearts, so I mean we're going to lose the next battle, but I then roll another Sloth. So yeah, not a great position to be in, but we do have a bunch of Chameleons ready to go. So we might as well give it a shot. A fairly low statted team, however, you hate to see the double garlic, because without any equipment of our own, we're not going to be able to get through it. And so now, yeah, what do we do here? Bring in Mosasaurus. I think I immediately take the level 2 Mosa because we need stats. And yeah, I don't have enough gold to sell anything, so I'm not sure why I'm selling the Gharial. Or am I going to sell Gharial and sell Hoopoe Bird to bring in? Okay, yeah, it's just a mistake. I guess I could sell Hoopoe. I'm just going to sell Chameleon. And yeah, made a bit of a mess of that one. I was probably just dazzled by the sloth in the shop. Okay, right. We're giving up on Chameleon because we're going to try and actually win with the sloth. So we snipe the wolf at the back, so they are going to lose one. I think this is the same team as earlier. The skunk with pepper. You rarely see that. So I get the beluga here, and might as well just meme it up with another sloth inside the beluga. Of course, you can actually also use the beluga to keep the sloth until the end, and then pill the beluga once it's on level 3, and then you'll immediately have the level 3 sloth. So not completely irrational, but we don't have a toy anymore, so the Mosasaurus is now useless. I'm just trying to rearrange a little bit to try and optimize this team. But then we're just going to get our front 2 units deleted by Woodpecker. They've got Stork anyway. Most teams have Stork these days. But hopefully someone found it amusing when they faced a Beluga team and the Sloth popped out at the end. So I basically admitted defeat with Chameleon plus Dolphin, but there will be a sequel to this video later in the week where we go for a different Chameleon combo.